Alright, so in the previous video we laid out the HTML that we need to construct our website. Again, this is the look that we're roughly going for, and this is what we have so far. So we need to begin to style our web page using CSS. And the first thing that we're going to do is look at global attributes, global properties, global values that we want to assign. So for example, I want my text to be white. I want to remove underlining from every anchor tag. I want a specific font to be used for the web page. We have a container tag that we were using to float things to the center and constrain page widths. And those are all things that are going to be used globally. The containers used over and over again in each of the major sections. So we want to take those things and go ahead and define them right out of the gate, and before we move on to the next steps. So we're going to work here first by defining global attributes for the web page. So we'll close that hidden comment, and then we're going to go asterisk, and asterisk again applies to everything. So we're going to go asterisk, and we're going to set margin to 0 pixels as the default. We're going to set borders to 0 pixels as the default, and then we're going to set padding to 0 pixels as the default. For the body itself, we're going to take and set some defaults there. So for the body, we're going to set a default color to white, so that's going to be pound FFF in hex, and then we're going to set a default background color, so background color. And in my images folder, I have a color palette that I was going to use. I was going to use this color of gray for the background. So I'm going to grab a color selector and get the hex for that, gray. So copy that and close that color palette. Set the background color to that gray. For my text on the page, I want the text alignment by default to be centered, and if we need something different, we'll do it manually on the fly. So text align to the center. We'll set the default font family to Arial and sans serif. There should be Arial available, but just in case. And anything else on the body? I think that's it for the body. And then for my anchor tags, I don't want any underlining of anchors, so I'm going to go anchor, text decoration is going to be set to none. And that's the only global style I want applied to anchors, I believe. For unordered list, I want the default behavior to be no margin and no padding. We can add it if we need it. Ooh, not doing well with the typing here. And then let's see, is there anything, the container class. So we had a container class that we were using over and over again to center divisions in the page and to constrain widths of objects that are on the web page. So we want to do our settings for that. So the div dot container, any division that is a member of the container class, we're going to set the width to default to 85% of the viewport, and then we're going to set margins left and right to auto, and that should center things for us. Margin right to auto. For the body, actually, I'm going to add in a default line height, and we're going to make that so the spacing between lines on the page, so we're going to set the default to 1.5 ems, so 1.5 times whatever the default setting is for the browser, and we'll save those changes, and then we want to go through and make sure that they've been applied. So I'm going to hit save, and let's check text is centered, underlining removed, We have the spacing between lines now that wasn't there before, and I think we're good for global attributes, properties, values, and we can move on to working on styling this header section next.